Hi, we have Sushi from Ghøstkid here in Metal Frontman series this time. Thank you for taking some time to sit with us. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
hello again. Thanks for having me.
First, I'd like to know a bit about your background when it comes to metal music. When did you recall hearing heavier music for the first time?
That's a really good question. I think it was like pretty early, probably when I was like, probably that's not early, like for a start. Like to start listening to metal music. I guess it was like 12. I wouldn't consider it metal. It was like my first band was Guano Apes. But when I really just, worked myself into metal, it was more like with this new metal era. I don't know, I guess I was like probably 14 years old or something. So I grew up with bands like Korn, Slipknot and so on. It was a really great time back in the days. That was probably like the starting point with metal and me.
What was in heavier music that caught your attention and made you become a musician? Did you have some people you looked up to around that time?
I think probably like the biggest influence was my dad, because he used to like record like all those festivals like Rock am Ring, Bizarre Festival, like back in the days we had a bunch of them. So they broadcasted all of them like on TV, and he just recorded all that stuff when I started playing guitar. And I said, okay, I wanna become a musician. I was always looking for my thing, and I said, okay, this is what I'd like to do. But that was not like specific metal music, it was overall like the whole thing. So I was like a big Smashing Pumpkins fan as well, and like everything came together.
When you started singing, did you take any influence from other musicians, or did you find your own style and voice from the beginning?
Oh shit. Basically I was just working on the whole time not to crash my voice the whole time. It was like when I started, originally I'm not a singer, I'm a guitar player that just started to sing like background vocals and all that shit, and there was always like this singer issue. So I just did it while playing guitar, and it was a lot of fun. So I joined my first band like Eskimo Callboy back in the days, now Electric Callboy. And it was not really like, okay, that I looked up to somebody. It was more like just doing that thing. So, yeah.
How long did it take for you to learn the right technique for singing?
Oh my God, I'm still learning. After such a long time, it's pretty hard for me. So I kind of have my routine, and I took some vocal lessons as well and all that stuff. Like with the screaming, it was always like, okay, learning by doing it. So I changed my technique like, I don't know, after 10 years, I guess, so I scream differently. Like I did it like back in the days. I think it's pretty hard to tell. I think I'm still learning, I would never consider myself a good singer, so it's always like try and error at some points, I still don't know what I'm doing.
Do you have any warm-up routines before going on stage? Has that changed over the years?
That has changed a lot, because I used to warm up, but I figured out, okay, so if I warm up properly, like I had a proper vocal warm up from my vocal coach, and every time I did it, so my voice became like less raspy when it comes down to the screams. It was more like, okay, the clean singing was better, but at some point I stumbled across like an interview with Jason Alan Butler, and he says he's not warming up at all. What he does is like every day, like little vocal exercises or something, just to keep the routine. And I figured it out. I'm like the same kind of singer. So for me, it's better just to build up a routine over, I don't know, weeks. I should do like every day something a little bit, Of course, I don't do it because I'm fucking lazy. But this is how my voice works. So if I would do a proper warm-up, or at least I haven't found a proper vocal warm-up for like the singing technique, screaming technique I do, because it's always like something, it clashes at some point, so it's like maybe I lose my clean voice or my screaming voice, whatever, but it's pretty tough.
Are there some foods or drinks that you avoid before shows that you feel they harm your vocal cords? Is there something you always eat or drink?
I try to avoid food at all, like 4 hours before the show, because when my stomach is full, it just feels weird. I have less energy. Besides that, I try to avoid beer. So when I drink, and yeah, most of the time I'm drinking, it's more like I stick to liquor, because I don't know, when I drink beer, it feels like it dries out my throat or something, And what I really take care of is like when we have a show day, I don't drink caffeine at all, This is what I do. So, and I try to drink as much water as possible, like in between. But basically, that's it.
Looking back at your discography, are there specific moments you feel you have taken major steps forward as a vocalist?
That's a good question. I mean, there was not like a specific moment where I would say, okay, I just figured out something different, like how to work with my voice differently. I would say everything, yeah, probably I've made some progress like in between the first two records, I would say, just, I don't know, when it comes down to the technique or something. But there was not something like a mind-blowing moment where I found out, okay, good, I have to do it like this way. Or maybe there was, but I can't remember. Probably it was like when I was singing like 30 Seconds to Mars in my car, because there I found out like how to use the mixed voice thingy. But that has nothing to do like with singing in the studio or something, because some tracks, sometimes it's weird because they are lower, but they are so uncomfortable to sing, Yeah, it always depends. But I think that was like a mind-blowing moment for me, because it's so easy just to sing really fucking high notes, I mean, of course, live is a different thing. But in the studio, that was probably a mind-blowing moment for me.
Are there some tracks that have been challenging for you to sing? Are there some that you are specifically proud of?
I think the track I'm the most proud of is Heavy Rain, and it's the most horrible song to sing live. I hate to sing it because, like I said it before, it's something like in between. So, for example, we have this track Sex, and it's super high, but it's easy because I just can lock in this technique and just sing it, But Heavy Rain is it's just going up and down, and like always in between, and like the pitch of this track is like it's really on the edge for me, like where I can't switch techniques. So that's the reason why it's so fucking hard to sing, And yeah, I still try to figure out how to do it. It really takes a lot of time for me just to really find a proper technique. It took me, I don't know, like on the first record it's this track Dirty, It's like, it took me almost 2 years to figure out how to sing it live, just the most comfortable way. Oh yeah.
What were your parents' reactions when they first heard that you are going to sing in a metal band?
I mean, they always used to sing in a church choir, so, I mean, music was always around, but of course not that kind of music, so, but I mean, they have kind of like an understanding of what this is all about. Of course, it's different, and the technique, like singing in a church choir, is so different to what we do. But yeah, I mean, my parents always supported me, even if most of the time they absolutely don't understand what we're doing, I mean, even like 2 days ago or something, my dad or my parents, we've been at the restaurant, and he was like sitting down and was asking, I just wanted to ask one more time, so how do you write songs again? So you have this band? No, I'm just writing everything on my own. I mean, besides my producer, but how that works. I showed you how I produce a track or something, or do the songwriting, Yeah, and then you just, you sing down a melody, and then you think it works, and then you rehearse, and everybody's improvising, or how you do it. And it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I'm doing that shit like for over 15 years or something now, or even longer, 20 years. And you're asking me after 20 years how I'm writing songs. Beautiful. Okay.
That can be hard to understand.
Yeah, he's asking that stuff multiple times, It just, yeah, he comes up with that stuff sometimes. Probably in 1 year he will ask me again, I think. Maybe in a month, 2 months or something.
Maybe your explanation evolves, so...
Yeah, I think he just forgets about everything I told him, Maybe that's the reason.
Is there anything you would like to say to young metal vocalists? They are just starting their journey.
I would say, and maybe that sounds a bit weird, it's like if you find a technique that works for you, that's fine, but if you start singing at all, it's always like people overthink. I mean, probably they take lessons and so on, and you hear all that stuff. Yeah, don't drink, don't smoke, whatever, I've been on tour with Johnny Craig, like back in the days, and he used to drink half a bottle of Jack before the show and the other half after the sound check. I know it was before the sound check and after that, and he fucking killed it every night on stage. So, and I mean, there are some people that are smoking like crazy. I mean, me included, probably, So it's like every vocalist is so different, What works for one good vocalist probably doesn't fit to you, And this is what I would say. You always have to work on your own voice and you have to try finding out like what works for you the best, So for me, caffeine doesn't work. Some people just drink coffee, nothing happens, But what kills us all is probably like ACs. except for all the Americans, like the singers from the United States. They grew up with that shit. They're indestructible. I think you have to just work hard and just do it with a lot of passion, so then it should work out.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.